Well, it is the solstice, and it is Easter, as it's commonly called. And with it we know that energy that comes every year, this cycle, which is so depicted in that amazing story. But each of us, in our own way, enact on every occasion the 40 days in the wilderness, the crucifixion, the entombment, and the resurrection. And if we're perceptive enough, when we go through this period, we can very clearly designate the events that really show what these phases are. So just to stir the pot a little, there's a wonderful story of Rumi, the great Sufi poet. Let's see, in this place where we are now, with these forces at play, what it brings up as a translation for us. In a time long ago, in a place far away, there was a tall, tall mountain, and one side of the mountain faced the sunlight, and so it had the seasons. The rains would come, the sun would come, the grass would grow, and on that side there was an abundance. People could grow fruit and flowers and live well. But the other side of the mountain was in shadow, always under a mist. It was barren, covered in snow for the most part. And on that side of the mountain lived an old man. And every day he would climb to the heights of the mountain to gather bramble bushes, which he carried on his back down the mountain to sell at the marketplace, to make barely a subsistence living. But always on his lips were the prayers that he'd learned, the name of God. And when his back ached, he would say, "God, I know your back is aching. I will rub it for you to ease the pain." Or when his feet were torn and blooded from climbing on the rocks, he would say, "Oh God, I know your feet are sore. Let me bathe them in soapy water to ease their pain." There was never a moment when there was not on his lips one form of praise or recognition or other. But one day he was so tired carrying his heavy load that he placed it down and lay down under a rock where he went to sleep. And while he was asleep, he dreamed that someone, a man in a long white robe, came to him and said, "I bring you a gift. In the basement of your house lives a serpent. If you take a bowl of milk to this serpent each day, it will give you a gold coin." So indeed, taking up his heavy load, the old man made his way down the mountain to his abode, and that evening he took a bowl of milk down into his cellar, and as he waited, out slithered a snake, black and white stripes down its back with a slash of red. It drank the milk and left behind a gold coin. The old man gave thanks to God, and every day he bought the bowl of milk, and he took his gold coin. But one day he became ill, and so he asked his son to take the bowl of milk to the serpent, which the son did. But after a few days, the son thought to himself, "Why, my stupid old father!" And that very evening he took a shovel down with him into the basement as he was bringing the bowl of milk, and with the intention that he would kill the snake and take its hoard. He waited, and after the snake had drunk its milk, the young man lifted the shovel and brought it down, thinking that he was going to sever the head of the serpent, but instead he only cut off its tail. When the old man was well, he went down to the basement to apologize to the snake, and the snake said, "While I remember my tail, and you remember your son, we can never be friends again." Now we have this wonderful pot, cauldron, not only the Easter energy, the solstice energy, but the great forces of the confluences of the cosmos coming to play. As they play in us, around us, and through us, what arises as a translation, an interpretation from the deep well, the great vortex that these forces create in us, as to the meaning of this story. The Father, the Son, and the snake what could Rumi be telling us in this deep, very profound and simple tale?
While the father had a son and saw him as his son and the snake as a snake, and they weren't that trilogy, were they?
No. Right.
So it reminds me of God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy
Holy
Spirit.
Ghost. Yes.
You can't take anything by force. You know, what's given's given. You can't force war or luck or anything like that.
No.
Privilege.
Exactly. You're right.
Forget the past and move on.
Absolutely.
Because it's the only way forward.
Right. Absolutely right. Yes. Yes.
I was thinking the sun is like the things we do in the world, like our progeny.
Yes.
And in doing that we often set a part of the spiritual, which is a snake. So we have to leave it behind.
Mm-hmm.
Does he speak in parallels? Like, I mean, we could also take the snake to be the subconscious, and we could easily take the sun to be the ego or the conscious.
Absolutely we can. We can see it from many, many levels. But the interesting thing for us is to recognize that in this environment where we do have these great forces at play, what it is that arises in us as an understanding of these things, isn't it?
Making peace with it.
Making peace with it. Having awareness of it at the very deepest level and having an understanding of it, isn't it? But it's in the pot, and that energy is stirring it up. So that's why this story is offered now, at this time. Not really for us to make an interpretation, although these are very valid interpretations. But it's an ingredient. And now we have to let those forces play in us. We have no choice. We have nowhere we can go to be outside them. Thank you.